when a calm black woman walked into a billionaire family's charity gala. Laughter followed her instead of welcome, who let the staff drink champagne. One heir mocked, waving her away as the cameras turned. She said nothing, just glanced at her watch and made a quiet call. Minutes later, every phone in the ballroom buzzed with breaking news. The $30 billion merger they were celebrating had just been cancelled by the woman they'd mocked. The room fell silent when they realized she didn't crash their party. She owned it. The ballroom of the Imperial Hall glowed with golden chandeliers. Laughter and arrogance, the city's wealthiest, had gathered to celebrate the Denton family's crowning achievement. A $30 billion corporate merger that would make them untouchable in the global energy market. Every guest in attendance wore confidence-like armor. At the edge of the hall, a woman stood alone, observing quietly. Dr. L. Carter, founder and CEO of Helios Dynamics, the firm that had engineered the very technology behind the merger. She had chosen to arrive without announcement. No entourage, no spotlight. The moment she entered, the whispers began. "Who's she with?" someone murmured. "Probably an assistant," another said with a smirk. At the head table, Victor Denton, the patriarch's eldest son, raised his glass. "Looks like security missed one," he said loudly enough for others to hear. "No offense, ma'am, but this isn't a community event," the nearby crowd laughed. Elise didn't flinch. "Apologies," she said evenly. "I thought innovation deserved a seat at Theatable," Victor chuckled. "Oh, innovation always does." After the billionaires have spoken, phones discreetly lifted. People recorded. It was sport for them, humiliating the unfamiliar. Then the family matriarch Lydia Denton joined in, her tone sharp. "Security," she called. "Escort this lady to the service area." "Please." The guard hesitated. "Ma'am, she's wearing a now," Lydia snapped. Elise's calm was almost unnerving. She simply looked at her watch, dialed a number, and said, "Activate Protocol Atlas." The man on the other end replied instantly, "Understood. Dr. Carter, operation confirmed." No one noticed the silence until it grew uncomfortable. The massive projection screen behind the stage, which had just displayed the Denton legacy, 30 billion strong, suddenly flickered. The Denton logo vanished. A red banner appeared, breaking Helios Dynamics Terminate's merger agreement with Denton Global Holdings. Laughter evaporated. Murmurs turned to gasps. Someone shouted, "That's not possible." Lydia turned toward Elise, eyes narrowing. "What is this?" Elise held her phone steady, a live update. Victor snatched the microphone from the podium. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is a technical glitch. Ignore it." But the news kept rolling across the ticker. All funding and patent rights revoked effective immediately. In that instant, every executive in the room checked their devices. Panic spread like fire. Emails flooded. Calls dropped. Lydia's husband, Charles Denton, turned to Elise. "Who do you think you are?" Elise looked directly at him, "The founder of the company you were merging with." A stunned hush rippled through the crowd. Charles blinked. "You're lying." Elise tapped her phone again. The ballroom screen switched to a photo of her signing the Helios patent agreements with a government official beside her. "You see, Mr. Denton, Helios Dynamics wasn't a supplier. We were the foundation of your entire expansion. Without us, your deal doesn't exist." The CFO at the Denton table buried his face in his hands. "She's right," he muttered. "All assets are frozen." Lydia's tone cracked. "You can't do this." Elise's reply was razor calm. "I already have." Security lowered their radios. Guests started filming again. Not the humiliation of a woman this time, but the downfall of a dynasty. Elise turned to Victor. "You once told the press you don't do charity optics. Consider this lesson philanthropy for your ego." He stepped forward, face pale. "You'll destroy thousands of jobs." Elise shook her head. "No. I'll rebuild them under leaders who understand respect." The host tried to regain order, but the event had imploded. Sponsors were already calling. Reporters outside the venue shouted questions through the doors. Then, just as the chaos peaked, the main entrance opened. A group of media photographers streamed in, summoned by Elise's assistant. Flashbulbs exploded as they captured the moment. The once celebrated Denton family surrounded by confusion, while Elise Carter stood centered, calm, composed, and untouchable. She walked toward the podium. The crowd parted without a word. Taking the microphone, she said, "Tonight was meant to honor collaboration. Instead, it revealed character. You mocked what you didn't understand and proved exactly why power without integrity collapses." Every syllable carried across the hall. "You wanted a spectacle," she continued. "Here it is. Watch the cost of arrogance in real time." The room was silent except for the clicking of cameras. Then Elise placed her phone on the podium and said one final command. "Transfer Helios's philanthropic fund to the Global Education Trust. Reallocate the full event budget to student innovation grants." Her assistant's voice came through the speakerphone. Done. Confirmation posted. The screens behind her refreshed again. 30 billion merger void. Funds reassigned to Global Education Trust. The guests gasped. Lydia collapsed into her chair. Victor stared blankly ahead. Elise turned to the stunned crowd one last time. "This isn't revenge," she said. "It's correction." She stepped down from the stage and moved toward the exit. The security guard who'd been called to remove her stepped aside respectfully. "Ma'am," he said quietly. "That was something else." Elise smiled faintly. Respect always looks like rebellion to the arrogant. Outside the glass doors, night air met her like applause. Across the street, a digital billboard changed. The Denton family's merger advertisement faded, replaced by a single phrase in bold silver text. "Respect is priceless." A reporter caught up as she reached her car. "Dr. Carter, why not expose them earlier?" She paused, eyes steady, because silence is strategy. Power doesn't argue, it executes. Flashes exploded around her as she entered the car. Her assistant texted, "Denton accounts locked." She replied, "Good, let humility pay the tuition." The skyline shimmered on the window like a crown she didn't need to wear. Because she hadn't come to fit in that room. She came to end the illusion of power and left with the world bowing to silence.